Elliott, speeding, running stop signs, traveling with no license, without license plates, or restrictions, and those are not arrestable offenses. From the Declaration of Human Rights, United Nations General Assembly, Resolution 217, December 10, 1948, Article 15. Well, that's something different. But
hello, this afternoon we got a treat especial from Reddit, posted by R1ZZ, maybe it's pronounced Riz. We've got a sovereign citizen Moorish arrest out of Pinehurst, I don't know where in Pinehurst. Anyways, as you can see, he's reading from a document, and I was trying to figure out where he got the document from and where he got the case law that he was reading, blah blah blah. Turns out it was a lot easier to figure out than I thought it would be. Alright, so the quote that he was reading is, quote, speeding, running stop signs, traveling without license plate or registration are not threats to the public safety and thus are not arrestable offenses. Now that makes it very easy to find where he's getting his information from, because you can just stick that into Google and we'll get the answer. Unsurprisingly, this led to RVBaypublications.com, one of a Taj Bay affiliated website. Now, as you can see down here, the quote is found. Jesus, I just saw it. It's number 7 here. As you can see, the direct quote was taken from this document from RV Bay Publications. As you can see here, it says, quote, speeding, running stop signs, traveling without license plates or registrations are not threats to the public safety and thus are not arrestable offenses. Christie v. Elliott, blah, blah, blah. Now, there are other sites that are also using this case law that coincidentally are also Moorish and Taj Bay affiliated, as we'll see in a moment. Over here on the product page for RV Bay Publications, on the $50 right to travel card, it quotes the same case law. Well, let's stop saying it's case law. It's fake case law. This is not a real quote. Anyways, as we'll see here, as you can see here, in their $50 right to travel card, which they sell on the website, they're quoting the same: speeding, running stop signs, traveling are not threats to the public safety. Christie v. Elliott, blah blah blah. $50 for the right to travel card. Similarly, in Moorish Directory, website that promotes Taj Bay, possibly affiliated to him, I don't know, it's complicated to figure out this stuff. As you can see here, moorishdirectory.com. Well, as you can see here, they have basically boilerplate name, declaration, correction, proclamations, and publication. Now, the important part is a little bit further down. Okay, so you can see here I got the little highlighter tool. As you can see here, it quotes the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, the same thing that this guy was quoting. Further down, you see here the same fabricated Christie v. Elliott quote: traveling in an automobile, blah blah blah, are not threats to the public safety and thus are not arrestable offenses. Now notice here, coincidentally, that it's number 7 in this list of cases, which means that this was a direct copy-paste from RV Bay Publications. There's another proclamation which also uses the same thing. Let me find it for you. This is a similar, what's this called? Notice of Public Records. Correction, this one is from Dominus Nobilis L. As he calls himself a consul. Anyways, as you can see here down, as okay, the following are pertinent Supreme Court decisions. It's basically the same thing. You can see here number 7, traveling in an automobile, blah blah blah, are not threats to the public safety and thus are not arrestable offenses. Christie v. Elliott. Quote 216, so as you can see, this is basically boilerplate documents that are promoted and sold by Moorish Directory and RV Bay. notice that this guy here was, let me find him. Tahim Elijah Bey was using it, and the other guy is Dominus Nobilis L. It's probably more guys using this stuff. Actually, one more thing before we move on to why this is essentially a fake quote. The reason we know that this guy is getting it from R.V. Bey and the Moorish proclamation, and what makes this all easier is that if you notice, they are misspelling Christie v. Elliott. They're writing it with one T instead of two T's. So the other websites, other white sovereign websites, quote the same case, but they use two T's, so that makes it easier. Actually, one more thing. Notice here that R.V. Bey Publications and MoorishDirectory.com are claiming that this is a Supreme Court decision, meaning a federal Supreme Court decision. As we'll see, that is not the case. And let me just give thanks to Native and Natural Born Citizenship Explored blog, which discusses, already had discussed this case in the past, which made it a lot easier to make this video. Okay, so as you can see here, problem number one is that this is not a Supreme Court case. Unfortunately, the actual case isn't available online. It's a pretty old case, but we do have other cases that do quote from Christie v. Elliott, and we see that. Number one, it's a case from Illinois. Number two, it does not say what R.V. Bey and Tashri Bey, all these Moors, are claiming that it says. Here's one quote from Christie v. Elliott. Quote, an automobile being a dangerous machine, its owner should be held responsible for the manner in which it is used, and his liability should extend to its use by anyone with his consent. He may not deliver it over to anyone he pleases and not be responsible for the consequences. And I'm hoping Cujo watches this, because he's always complaining that I don't mention the facts, I don't get into the subject matter. Anyways, here we have Perrine v. Charles T. Bish from 1952, another case from Illinois, which quotes Christie v. Elliott. And as we can see here, well, you'll see what it says. Alright, here we go. And in the case of Christie v. Elliott, 216, the court there said at page 39, we have said, the state inherently possesses and the General Assembly may lawfully exercise such power of restraint upon private rights as may be found to be necessary and appropriate to promote the health, comfort, and safety and welfare of society. This power is known as the police power of the state. It is the exercise of this power the General Assembly may, by valid enactments, i.e. due process of law, prohibit all things hurtful to comfort, safety, and welfare of society, even though the prohibition invades the right of liberty and property of an individual. There is no part in Christie v. Elliott that says that essentially driving without a license, etc., are not arrestable offenses. In fact, it quite specifically states the opposite, that state possesses the power to restrain your private rights to promote health, comfort, safety, and welfare of society. Similarly, in Brackey v. Maupin, we have another citation of Christie v. Elliott, which says, quote, so it may be said that the legislature of the state has exercised the power of regulation mentioned. In addition, it may be said that the legislature of the state has duly conferred upon the municipal authorities of its cities such powers as are necessary to regulate the use of their streets by motor vehicles. Such authority as pertains to Harlan, city of the 4th class, which, among other things, declares that city council should have exclusive control and power over the streets, roadways, sidewalks, alleys, and this power had the right to exercise by the passage of the ordinance in question, Such an ordinance is a valid exercise of the police power for the protection and safety of citizens. Christie v. Elliott, 216, Anyway, so you can see here in another one, we see this description of Christie v. Elliott. Quote, Act of 1903 regulating speed of automobiles held valid exercise of police power. So what appears here is that Christie v. Elliott was about whether or not speed limits were legal or constitutional. And what the court decided was that it was. It does not say that, contrary to what R.V. Bay says. Well, let's go to what they say. Anyway, so contrary to what R.V. Bay and Moorish publication says that Christie v. Elliott says. Actually, no, let's highlight what they said. All right. According to R.V. Bay, traveling in an automobile on the public roads was not a threat to the public safety and constituted no hazard to the public. This is false. Christie v. Elliott actually says that automobiles are dangerous things, and the speeding, running, are not threats to the public safety and thus are not arrestable offenses. The case does not say that. The state, what the case actually says is that speeding laws regulating speed are constitutional, and there are later Supreme Court decisions that say that they are arrestable offenses. So everything that R.V. Bay, Moorish publications, all these guys are saying about this case is nonsense. It's bullshit.